A man sued by Tyler Perry seeks dismissal. Mogul says former employees stalked and harassed him. And my girl, last year, Tyler Perry filed a protective order lawsuit against a former studio employee, Joshua Soleil, who believed to be stalking him, who he believed to be stalking him. Now Soleil is fighting back against the claims and is countersuing the media mogul for harassment. He's also asking a judge to dismiss Perry's case. Soleil allegedly broke into Tyler Perry's Atlanta-based studio, disabled security alarms, and locked himself inside of Tyler Perry's studio office. He reportedly wanted to talk to the director, according to the reports, and it took police 4 hours. Sorry. 4 hours to get Soleil out of Perry's office. Soleil was arrested and charged for criminal trespassing. Okay. Now, if y'all don't remember back in the day, he, came into Tyler Perry Studios because look at here. He was promised certain things. He done sat there and he done did certain of the things. Now, if you wanted to know, let me pull up this backstory and let's give you a photo to explain this. It's Joshua Soleil, okay? The fine man to the right of Tyler Perry, okay? Somebody that would not want Mrs. Maybird. Don't nobody want Maybird. My girl, don't nobody want her. But, my girl, this is who allegedly, well, not allegedly, he was in Tyler Perry's studio, hiding in his office, a girl, and he wouldn't come out. He said, and for 4 hours disabled these security alarms. And when the police wanted to know what he wanted, all he wanted to do was talk to Mr. Perry. Absolutely. All he wanted to do was have a conversation with Mr. Perry, okay? Part of the conversation was that Mr. Perry knew, allegedly, that he had been being harassed and have been doing alleged sexual favors for brats. Okay, absolutely. This is why I wanted you to remember his face in there, my girl, because this is the producer that he added inside of the lawsuit. He absolutely did. Again, he was not suing Tyler Perry. He was suing after this incident. He ended up suing Tyler Perry Studios and Brett. He did not sue Tyler Perry. So that's the confusing part of the case. A lot of people put, when they're putting two and two together, if you look at the actual lawsuit, then so this is Tyler Perry's lawsuit in response, but this is Tyler Perry countersuing through his studio. So it wasn't him suing Tyler Perry himself. It was more so of your production company, your production, and your producer is who he was suing, because that's who the alleged favors were being done for, not Tyler Perry himself. Okay, allegedly. But the lawsuit clearly does not state Tyler Perry like as a person. It does not state him, and it was 17 pages long, and in those 17 pages Tyler Perry is spoke of throughout the lawsuit, but the aggressor, the person that he was actually suing, the person that he was calling the predator was Brett. Okay, this is the person who he said violated him. Okay, so this is Joshua Soleil, and he worked for Tyler Perry for, I believe he was on like the Half and Half Nots or something like that. I'll pull that up and see exactly what he worked on, but he worked on multiple projects for Tyler Perry. So that's why he locked himself in Tyler Perry's office to talk to Tyler Perry about Brett. Okay, so do we have that, or do you need me to explain? Because I can explain it again, because we're going to move on. But that's what the actual lawsuit was for. It wasn't for Tyler. So it was for his production company and people he had working for him. Okay. So if an employee in Walmart pushes you down on the ground, basically, you get to sue Walmart and the employee, right? Not just the employee, because they pushed you into some water behind you, slipped and you fell. You could sue both. You can sue Walmart and you can sue this person. So that's how it was. Whatever the things that was happening to him was Brett doing them to him at Tyler Perry Studio. So since it happened, the location was at Tyler Perry Studios, is why he included it. Okay, so he wasn't saying this was happening off Tyler Perry Studios. No, this was happening there, like while I was at work. The location. Okay. Boom. So now that we have that explained, we can move on. Let's get into Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry stated that when Joshua made these claims, that Joshua was not telling the truth about Brett. But it went from that to Tyler Perry, and This is Tyler Perry's own words, and I can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it right now. Actually, let me pull it right now. Is it this one? Proportion. Is it this one? Doesn't matter, but I want to get into this one anyway. So this is getting into the actual lawsuit, but in Tyler Perry's defense, which we're still going to get into that, Tyler Perry's defense was that the relationship between Joshua Soleil and Brett was consensual, and that is not true. Okay, so when Tyler Perry did finally speak on this in response to his said lawsuit, the reason why he wanted the lawsuit dismissed, Tyler Perry, was because the relationship was consensual. Although Joshua Soleil is a heterosexual male, hetero, he does not have a past or anything of being homosexual. No different than Christian Keys. It's the same thing. Christian Keys does not have a past of being homosexual or anything like that. He's a heterosexual male. He only deals with women. That's his preference. And so with these advances being brought to Christian, this is what what really pushes into the harassment realm, because these are hetero men. They're hetero. And even it doesn't excuse that this is at a workplace. So no producer, director, or anything should be doing anything with anybody that works for them. Like, it shouldn't be happening at all. So, but again, so this is, yeah, so let's get into that. The former employee sued last fall for allegedly stalking Atlanta media mogul Tyler Perry has filed his own lawsuit alleging that he was fired for denying the sexual advances of a superior and claiming that Perry exposed him to public contempt and ridicule. The suit asked for millions of dollars in damages. Joshua Soleil first run-in with Perry came on October 30th, 2014. That the day that, according to legal documents later filed by Perry, he disabled alarms and surveillance equipment and entered the entrepreneur's Southwest Atlanta studio through the ceiling. A production assistant Soleil had reportedly been seeking on a one-on-one meeting with Perry. Okay. So, so he just allegedly wanted to talk. But Tyler wouldn't take any of his phone calls, or anything like that. So I guess he felt the need to go to drastic measures to talk to Tyler. Soleil, who later called it all a misunderstanding that was blown out of proportion by security guards, was arrested and fired following the incident. So at the time, he still worked for Tyler Perry Studios. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. So at the time, he still worked there. It wasn't him. I mean, he was breaking and entering, don't get me wrong. But for Tyler not to be taking any of his calls and for him not to be allowed to necessarily come into Tyler Perry Studios, then it's like, how was he not already fired? I don't get that. That's another thing with Tyler. I'm like, your story is not adding up and neither is his. Like, both of y'all's stories are really fuzzy because he was still working there. You fire him after the incident, but he felt the need to go through those measures because you wouldn't take any of his phone calls and he was not basically allowed to come in. So wasn't he already 86th? I don't get that. It would have made more sense if Tyler would have been like, hey, he was already fired. This is a disgruntled employee, blah, blah, blah. That would make way more sense. But for you to say he's still working here, he still works for me, but he's not allowed to come in. Employees are on trespass. People that get fired are placed on trespass, and stuff like that. Like when a company fires you, you're pretty much instantly put on trespass. Like you need to leave. You cannot be here anymore. There's no reason for you to be here. You come in here, none of that. You're done. Okay, you're trespassing. At this point. So I was confused by that. I was like, how they fish keep paid? I was confused by that. I was just like, well. Okay, Tyler. Okay. So on Wednesday, Soleil, an attorney, Kwame Thompson filed a civil lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Atlanta, naming as defendants Perry Studios, and Brent Hendrix, a former supervisor The 17-page document makes individual claims under headings that include hostile environments, sexual harassment, retaliation, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and libel. Okay. So these things that he was accusing, they were not of Tyler Perry, they were of Brett. Okay. He was accusing Brett of these things, not Tyler. Okay. That is what people aren't. So that's what I'm saying, because Tyler Perry is listed is because he owns the company. So since he owns Tyler Perry Studios, again, you can sue everyone. Him suing Tyler Perry Studios is suing Tyler Perry. Like, no matter how you feel, he owns it. So no matter what, Tyler Perry is liable for it. But I'm saying the suit came from Brett, because Brett did all of these things to him, not Tyler. Okay. So he's not suing Tyler. He didn't sue him for these things. He's suing him. Okay. The producer. All right. And I want to put his face out there, because a lot of people don't put his face out there. Okay. This is why Tyler Perry's filed this lawsuit against him, against Joshua. Okay. Tyler Perry filed his own suit. This is not Tyler Perry and Brett suing Joshua. No, this is Tyler Perry, not Tyler Perry Studios. Tyler Perry, he owns Tyler Perry Studios, so it's one and the same. But he's basically adding Tyler on there because it's like it happened on your watch, is what he's saying. So he knew that he was responsible. That's Tyler knew that Brett was doing these things. Brett's in the chat. Brett who? Brett who? Brett, are you here, Brett? Is he real? Is he real? Because I don't play these games, girl. I don't play these games, girl. Yeah, prove it, because I don't. Okay, hold on. Where is he? I don't see a Brett. Yeah, I don't see a Brett. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh my God. You know what? Sean, I reached out to you about this in your first video, and you mentioned my name. I intended to speak to you and discuss this offline. You never responded. You're the one. Okay, now I do remember who you are. So yeah, you came into my DM. This is you. This is you. You came in my DM. I'll drop the link for you if you want to talk. But yeah, I remember you coming into my DM pressed. I do remember you coming in my DM pressed about information about Joshua. So yeah, I was very confused by that. I'm like, well, how are you coming in my DM, basically coming at me about something you should be mad at Joshua about? Joshua sued you, not me. Like, I didn't sue you. This is public knowledge that you were sued. And Tyler even filed, I remember you in my DMs, and he even filed a countersuit. So this is very so much real and real public. So like, I get that. I do remember you coming into my DM, and I ignored the out of you because I didn't understand. I didn't get why you were more upset with me than you were the person that's actually labeling you this way. Like, because Joshua has basically disappeared. So I take my reputation very seriously, brother. The reason that there was no resolution in the media is because it was dismissed in court as far as my involvement. So looky here, Brett. Again, this is all public. And I understand that the case has been dismissed, but Joshua has not. This has always been Joshua's story. So that's why I was so confused, and why you're mad at me for reporting what's public. I didn't go and dig this out of the crates. I didn't go and, I like this. It's all public. So I'm like, well, there's plenty of sites like the Atlanta Constitution and so many other people that have this up. Like, I'm like, because it's going to keep coming up. I mean, it's like, are you going to reach out to everybody that talks about it? Because it gives, you don't want us to talk about it. I would completely understand that. And I get your business and your reputation. But again, this is public knowledge. A case being dismissed to me does not mean that like you're exonerated. It just means the case was dismissed. If Joshua, which he does, still have the same story, would you like me to wipe his memory or something? Like, I don't understand that. I just don't understand your frustration with me, because you were like frustrated with me, and I'm just like, what did I do? I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it. And I understand if you don't want to hit the link, whatnot, if you don't care to speak on it. But again, all of these things are public knowledge. So I'm not stating these things to destroy a reputation. Joshua did that, not me. I don't know you, sir. Again, I said you even work for American Idol, like you're the real deal. You are. I'm not dismissing that. I'm not. I'm not saying anything of you're doing anything. Everything I say on my show is alleged. But again, this is what Joshua said about you, not me. I'm not running around saying da, 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 da. No, I think your name gets left out about this whole Tyler Perry thing. When this lawsuit comes up, I feel like people, just like if you look in pictures and whatnot online, they connect them to when the lawsuit didn't start because of these two people. He listed you. So that's why I said it's like you do get swept underneath the rug. You do. And I've always wondered why. I do find it weird that you state that the suit was dismissed as far as you were concerned. It definitely gives that you're saying it was Tyler then, right? Because he was the only person on the suit, if not you, right? That's why I was confused. I'm like, oh, so you're saying this was Tyler? So you're saying Tyler did it? Because you're saying you're dismissed from the suit. So you have no involvement. So then that leaves just the people on the lawsuit then, right? Which would be Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. So yeah. I was confused. So you are you. And shout out to you. Absolutely. And I do remember you reaching out to me. That's how I know it's you, because you said I reached out to you, and you did. You did. You reached out to me about 2 years ago when I dropped the video. So yeah, I just put up a bunch of public information. If you want to, come and state your case, or just say like, you know what, I have no involvement with this, and I would like to be left out of it. I'm completely fine with that, and I will respect it. I will respect it. I sure will. I will respect what you have to say. I sure will. But I do remember you. I do. I do remember. I do. I read it, and I did ghost it because I was confused by it. I didn't know how to respond. I'm like, well, how do I respond to this? Because I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to be rude. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm funny, but this is a job. You get it. So I don't want to be rude. And I don't know. I didn't want to like go on and on and on about it because I wasn't planning on like video after video after video after video after video after video. So I was pretty much like over it, like when you had reached out to me. So it wasn't something that I planned on continuing. But yeah, because you said you spoke to Tyler, right? Because you're the reason Tyler Perry doesn't like me. Allegedly. You're the reason. He doesn't like me. So yeah. You're the reason he doesn't like me. Allegedly. He said where's the link? Okay, I'll just keep dropping it. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Because I heard you guys spoke about the video, right? And you guys didn't like what you saw? Or because you don't work with Tyler anymore. From what I thought. I was like, well, you guys don't even work together. So how would they have spoken? But okay, hold on. I'm gonna put my banner up. Hold on, because the trolls of the world. I just don't trust the trolls of the world. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna put up my banner. What should I put up? Okay. 1 second, you guys. I just need to put a banner up because look at here. I just want to make sure everything is all good, Doc. Okay. And we will pull up Brett. I am going to let you have the floor, Brett. I just want to hold on, remove this.
Yo, what's good?
For you.
I'm good, Sean. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So, one, I want to say shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining my platform and gracing my platform. I really appreciate it. I do remember you reaching out to me. I do remember. But the why I say but is I was confused. I was confused in the energy and you were coming in because I was just speaking of public knowledge. So that's all I was coming from. But if you want to say your piece or correct anything, you absolutely can.
I respect that, Sean. Like when I reached out to you 2 years ago, it was because somehow down the rabbit hole of your streams or your fans or whatever, the video had reached me. Okay, yes, it's public knowledge, but for a good 7 or 8 years, it's kind of been buried in all of the other news cycles of everything else that went on. You know what I'm saying? So on the public forum, that information was there, but while it was playing out behind the scenes with investigations and the things that go on in legal cases, you know what I'm saying, when they get down to the nitty gritty of things, when they're looking at videos and they're looking at text messages and they're looking at all of that kind of stuff that matters more than like these online think pieces, all of that shit was thrown out. I'm not a public person. I'm a very introverted person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a black man. I work, I do my thing, and that's it. That situation was somebody who had other reasons for trying to get fame and fortune, and was trying to accuse and get money out of Mr. Perry in whatever way that they could. And I was collateral damage in that. That was proven behind with the court cases that went on. It was proven when shit was dismissed. It was proven through depositions and all the things that they went through when all this stuff was going on back in 2013, 2014. You know what I'm saying? So like when you do a think piece and a video on it to tie it into whatever your views are about Mr. Perry or whatever, my name was once again being dragged into this situation. So although it was public knowledge, it wasn't continual public knowledge. It wasn't rotating every week or every month or every year because it fell out of the news cycle. And I was okay with that because at the end of the day, when it got adjudicated in front of the people that matter, in front of the courts and things like that, I was vindicated. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to be like, okay, y'all need to release a statement. I need to go file a defamation suit. I didn't want none of that. I didn't want my name in the news cycle anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because it was in the news cycle for something that wasn't true, and it's something that only was sensationalized because of who it was tied to that didn't have anything to do with it in the first place. Other than us working at the studio, Mr. Soul wasn't hired by Tyler Perry. He didn't know Tyler Perry. We all worked as freelancers on the studio grounds. You know what I'm saying? And so all of the accusations was him trying to get money and scam out of Mr. Perry. You know what I mean? So and I got caught up in the whirlwind of it. I didn't want to have to sit here and do media interviews and talk to people and bloggers and correct the information that they were putting out because at that time I went through hellish shit. Like I went through a depression. Like I went through all of this stuff because on a global or international scale, I'm being accused of something that I didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? For reasons that were beyond me. So when I was going through all of that type of shit back then, it was a lot for me to get through it. And then when I saw it recycling, that's why I reached out to you to discuss it. You know what I mean? So like I was fully willing to have a discussion with you like I've had with anybody else. The people that even posted a lot of the articles that these people link or that they were, reviewing about, I had to reach out to them with like evidence, with like showing them court documents, showing this, so they would take the post down or they would take the article down or they would edit or modify their videos or whatever. So that was my hope in reaching out to you. Like, yo, you're welcome to have your think pieces and do what you do. But if you're giving your viewpoint based on false information, especially concerning me, I felt the need to reach out to you about it. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with Mr. Perry. It ain't got nothing to do with Josh. It was me clearing my name because what was going on your videos, you know what I'm saying, allegedly or not, wasn't true. You know what I mean? And then I had people that were close to me reaching out to me about it, you know what I'm saying, asking me and questioning my integrity. And it was like a recycle of having to go through a trauma that I had already went through all over again. You know what I'm saying? That I'm even having to go through now with jumping and talking to you about it right now.
No, I 100% get that. So you were saying that you were reaching out to me because the same information that was public, is public, that I was going around when I, like others that were going around with, the information isn't true. So you were reaching out to us to let us know that it wasn't true so that we wouldn't go forward with the information because it was incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, and on top of that, it's like, you know, you got back then, I ain't gonna say, I mean, bloggers and everything are part of everyday life, you know, but when all this stuff was hitting the news cycle, it was because of the sensationalism of what they were trying to say the situation was, which it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Even on Joshua's part, like within a day, it went from you just being somebody that was there as like a day player working on shows. So all of a sudden, you're Tyler Perry's lover, you're Tyler Perry's ex, all this stuff that wasn't even true. You know what I'm saying? Down to you know, the think pieces that people were trying to connect Mr. Perry to Mr. Soul that weren't even true. You know what I mean? And as a person that was there when everything was going on, as a person who was involved in the situation, I can speak to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a blogger. I'm not a person that was, you know, looking at a think piece. I'm not a person that took a couple websites and pushed it together. Like, I lived this. This was part of my life. This was a traumatic event in my life because I was accused of some shit that I didn't do. And then every time I look up, I got to worry about somebody posting a think piece about some shit that's not true. You know what I'm saying? And in most cases, I don't go out there. I don't defend because when all this was going on, my lawyers and people were like, look, you know, the less you say about it, like it'll fall out of the media cycle. You know what I'm saying? If you don't address it, it won't keep it up. It won't keep it rotating. Like, I addressed it last night because it started somebody had some traction on a video where they commented on it too. And now like the headlight is, oh, you know, ex-employee addresses Tyler, you know what I mean? It's like, it's putting me back in the cycle doing exactly what I didn't want to do. Like, even being here, the fact that you was live and you was addressing it is the only reason that I tapped into the show, because I didn't feel that since I had emailed you and reached out to you to try to talk to you about it amicably and you didn't answer me, that it wasn't another option except for me to come up here.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember you reaching out to me, and that's why I didn't say anything, because I didn't want to be disrespectful because I don't know your story. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I do my comedy thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. But when it get down to the real, like, of it, I didn't know what was what besides what's public. And with speaking with you, when it came to the situation, I knew it will call you out. So with certain things that I say, it do pull, you know, like a person from the audience. And I know with this situation, you were bound to come because I was going to bring up Joshua. But I'm glad that you came in the clear. So you're stating that, one, you were dismissed. Let's start there. You were dismissed from set case of this public knowledge with Joshua. So like, you were just the claims that he had against you in the case, you were dismissed of.
They were all dismissed. After all the investigation of all the claims that he made in press interviews and this lawsuit, the one that you pulled, were all dismissed once investigations were done.
Okay. So with that stuff being done, that's why you're stating that you basically were like traumatized by it because he lied on you in these claims that he had against you in the lawsuit with the Tyler Perry Studios?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if not for the case that this is being revved back up for things that really have nothing to do with it, you know what I'm saying? I.e., like, most of the stuff that I'm learning is because of the situation with Christian Keys and him, you know, like coming out with his trauma and people trying to tie all these strings together. This was a string that really like didn't need to be tied to this situation. You know what I mean? Because it had nothing to do with it. And then also too, like, the shit wasn't true. You know what I mean? And understand that, like, it's been a gap of whatever the amount of years from the time that it was reported to now, and only now are these things starting to resurface due to things that don't even have to do with this story. You know what I'm saying? But since, like, you know, I'm having to come online and see like somebody posting my LinkedIn or my IMDb, or like you posting my staff me up in my work history, like, of course I'm gonna have to feel the need to address it because it's coming from the perspective of like that I did something that I shouldn't have done, and that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like to be in a news cycle for shit like this. I like to, you see, I do have credits. I do work, but like, even coming in on this conversation, like, you have said mad stuff that wasn't even true. I wasn't a producer. I wasn't this man's boss. Like, these are things that, like, you're rereading, you know what I'm saying? Or you're reading from articles that I've been having to go through years, having to even correct that information. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm having to bust up and show court documents saying, hey, we investigated whether this guy was his boss. He wasn't his boss. Hey, we investigated. This guy said he did this. No, all the people said that this isn't what happened. This is what goes on during the court case. You know what I'm saying? When people are putting major work into it. So, like, I wasn't found guilty there. I've been found guilty in the court of public opinion when people like you, no offense, have interviews where they give their perspectives, and sometimes their perspectives lean to, oh, well, you know, Brett was gay and trying to get a straight man or some shit like that. That ain't even true. It ain't even the deal. You know what I mean? I shouldn't even really happen to be addressing it, but I'm having to address it because you put my name in the public sphere currently, presently. Yes, it's with public information. Yes, it's with articles that you might have, written or somebody might have sent to you or whatever. But the real deal is like none of the shit was true. Like the shit was a false accusation. The shit was thrown out because it was a false accusation. And now I'm having to, on a public forum, defend myself against you and everybody else that are trying to take this false accusation and fuel fire with this Christian shit.
Yeah. So you feel the energy that's going around about the whole Christian thing. You already know it's going to bring up, certain past things, and whatnot. And you're stating that all of the information, which you were dismissed from, so I can't give you that. All the information that's going around with the whole sexual harassment and stuff like that, because Tyler was connected to said lawsuit, so that information is definitely going to keep reiterating. It upsets you when your name is brought up in it because it has no truth to it.
Yeah, it has no truth to it. It's not only upsetting. I mean, like I said, this was like this really severely impacted like my mental health for like mad long. Even not being, or even being somebody that was accused and knowing that I didn't do it, not having my job affected because the investigations proved me to be, disproved all the shit that was accused, but to have my name like blasted on a national or international level randomly at any point of the year just because somebody might do a digging of an article or decide to do a think piece is exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It's exhausting. It's hurtful. It's reliving a traumatic experience. You know what I mean? Which is why, I reached out to you when I reached out to you. Like I reached out to you like I wasn't coming at you like I was mad. I wasn't coming at you like on some anger stuff. I came at you like, yo, you had some perspectives in this video, which obviously are just from whatever it is you could find from this side of the fence. Let me go ahead and have a conversation with you, so maybe you can see the other perspective. So if you need to rechange or edit or just change your mental perspective, we can have that conversation. But then to be maligned as like, yo, you were somebody that was harassed. You were somebody who's doing this just because you read an article. It's you know what I'm saying? It's not really cool. You know what I mean? It's not cool without, especially being that I reached out to you to offer another perspective, and you just like, yo, nigga, I don't know if this nigga's coming at me. He mad, I don't know, but I'm not even going.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, I don't know what's up. I'm like, what is this? I was confused. So that's why I just said nothing. Because I'm just like, well, what do you say? And like I said, I didn't plan on like going further, with it. So to me, that's what I said. I was like kind of like over it and like on to the next anyway. So it wasn't a big deal to me. So, but I get it. It was a big deal to you. Yeah. So I completely get that now because again, I only know what I read, and I'm gonna go base. I would rather read something than hear something. And when I read, I try to read from credible places because there's some people that just post the most outlandish things, and I won't read those things at all because I don't feel like they have any truth, or value to it. It's just a reason to get people to click the video, and I'm not for that. So I like to go with things that are tangible. And the information to where like the rumors came out about like your sexuality and then allegedly the sexual harassment against you doing this against Joshua at Tyler Perry Studios and whatnot. That is that's where it's coming from, the suit. So people read it and then they just place what they want in articles based off what they read, and they feel that it gives it a little merit. Because, well, it says it in these court documents. It said that this and this and this happened, and both of these are males, so we can say ... This guy must be ... So I completely get what you're saying, but again, I only know what I read. So to hear you and hear your perspective from it makes complete sense. Like, and why you get so frustrated and so upset when this conversation comes up, or when people do put these in, like you said, think pieces, because it's not a truth. So it's like there's no truth to what's being said. And on top of that, like you said, people are putting up your businesses, past companies and stuff that you work for and whatnot. So it's like your name and your brand being attached, to something that's not real. So it's like you get the articles, you get that, publicly they saying these things, but that doesn't make it true. Like I'm not saying these things, they saying these things. So I completely get that, and I can respect you coming up here, and saying those things. So you're saying that you did work for Tyler Perry, but Joshua did not. He was, but all of you were freelance.
No. We worked on projects. I'm an independent contractor. I didn't work for Tyler Perry Studios. I didn't, I worked on projects there on previous shows. You pulled up my staff me up. I was brought in as a production assistant and a coordinator on things. Me and Josh were in the same exact position. You know what I'm saying? We both were at the same pay level. Like, I wasn't his supervisor. There were people in the department that were above me. That's why none of the shit went nowhere, because all of the accusations and the basis of the lawsuit were proven to be false. Now, it took, you know, X amount of time through court for them to investigate and for them to do all the things that they needed to do, which was already an exhausting thing. You know what I'm saying? And my thought process on that was even to keep that shit out of the media, because Mr. Perry is in the media every day for the many great things that he does. I'm just a black man working out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they tried to give somebody some help in getting them into a job, and there was collateral damage when they tried to scam and get some money off of Mr. Perry. You know what I mean? And for a long time, I didn't say anything because I didn't want my name in the media scope. I still don't want it now. I know that even jumping on this is gonna impact that, but I didn't have any other reasonable way to reach out to you to have a discussion with you, so I didn't have to go through what we're going through now, which is where I walk in on a live and you got my picture up and my job's up and all of this stuff, you know, basically being accusatory because of what you read. You know what I mean? And you having a conversation about it, probably, or us having a conversation about this 2 years ago when I hit you up, might have prevented that from going on. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm even gonna have to deal with whatever you choose to post on this video. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you choose to not cut out of the X amount of time before I stepped in on this, you know, with what you were saying. And even that's a problem for me. You know what I mean? Like, because even you're gay. I know you're gay. I see my person, like, even all of that kind of stuff. Like, I shouldn't be sitting here on YouTube having to talk about my sexuality or having to defend up for myself for some shit that's 8 years old that was already settled. You know what I mean? I'll do it because at the end of the day, like, I would rather us have this discussion than you know, make 5 more think pieces where you don't have another perspective to lead you to say whatever the things that you might say.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Do you know why he targeted you, Joshua? Like, what made him target you?
I think Josh was just very much an opportunist. I met Josh at a party. It was amongst other people in the industry that were gay. I think that once he realized where I was, it was an easy go to just try to get in. You know what I'm saying? I met him. He seemed like a cool guy. There was openings and job positions that were available. I forwarded his resume to the powers that be, and he got in, and he worked in our department. Now, I think the major reason of him targeting me was also because when he did what he did, I had knowledge of what went on that day, and then basically told him I wasn't gonna lie for him. I'm like, yo, bro, like, I work here. Like, if they contact me and ask me anything, I'm not about to, like, you know, like, lie and like get caught up and get fired, you know, defending up for you because you decided to do some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can read all the articles and see all the stuff that happened. You know what I mean? But like, after all that stuff happened, my name was maligned in this, you know what I mean? And it's still being maligned. So, like, this is one of the first times I've even addressed this publicly, you know what I mean? And I'm choosing to do it here only because, like I said, I'm stepping in on a live where my name is being thrown around as some bullshit.
Absolutely. So he came on as like production like you? He wasn't like an actor or anything there?
No, he was trying to be an actor. But he ain't come in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a money grab.
Yeah. I understand that. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming up here and clearing your name. And for the people in the chat, no. There's no checking or anything like this. It's 2 grown men having a conversation. If I was, which talking to Brett, like, you can clearly hear from, as far as I'm gathering, he's straight. So if you got somebody sitting there calling you gay, you know, all of that stuff and whatnot, it's like, you're going to speak on it because that's what men do. So I can respect it because I did say it. So it's when I'm supposed to lie, I did. So it's not a check. It's an understanding. It's like, I understand and he understands that I'm going off what I hear. I'm going off what I'm reading, basically. And from what I'm reading, it's saying that you're gay. I'm not calling him gay like personal. I don't know him. So like, that's the thing. So I can respect that because he's clearing it up. He said, I'm not gay. He don't want to be called gay. He don't want to be listed as gay because that's not what he is. And I can respect that.
No, it's not. It's not that, my brother. It ain't really me checking you or trying to check you about.
No,
that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel that way.
It's not at all. And it ain't even really to just get deep and even be having to discuss my sexuality, what I am and what I'm not. You know, in this circumstance, you know, like, I was essentially outed. You know what I'm saying? For outed and in a line with something that didn't have nothing to do with me and wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? On a national scale. So all I'm trying to do is make sure that, like, when this stuff happens now, 8 years after this situation occurs, you know what I'm saying, if I need to have a discussion with somebody about it, because you got mad views, you're talented, you know what I'm saying, you're on this platform, you speak about the things that you speak about, but I think that you should also want to have a level of integrity to the things that you speak about. You want to have a level of truth, or even if things are alleged or whatever the case may be, if some stuff that you're reporting has a little untruth, and you can control that reporting, and me having this discussion gives you the ability, that's what I'm here for. I don't want to be maligned in the public again. I don't want to have like discussions about this shit every week or every month or every year. You know what I'm saying? I wanted this shit to fade away, just like the lawsuit faded away. And when people keep it alive simply because they want clicks and views, I feel the need just to discuss it, because this could have, like this whole, if I hadn't tapped in on this conversation, who knew where you could have went?
Oh yeah, because I was about to go there.
Who knew where you could have went?
Yeah, I'm glad. That's why I said this is good. So it's good that you are clarifying it somewhere, so that you at least have a source, or a place to where your truth is getting out there. Because I can't speak for you, and you don't like talk to interview about none of this stuff or anything. So there's no place of reference to get your side. So that's why I can only go with what's public. So that's why I said I get your frustration. I get why you're upset, because you've been dealing with it for 8 years. You've been dealing with 8 years, people constantly repeating a cycle of something that you know not to be true, and your name is attached to it. So yeah, I get it, like 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, bro, that's all I want to step in, and like I said, if you can even look back at your old video that I ran you up about 2 years ago, you know what I'm saying? That was. You're not the only one that I've had to have these discussions with. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, some of the people that were like the main reporters of whatever the spin was back in the day, they removed their stories. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that I have to follow this like net. You know what I'm saying? You have reporters that are like, according to such and such.com, Brett Hendrix did this, but then such and such.com is no longer there because that writer was like, oh shit, I seen the evidence. Let me take this story down because this shit ain't true. Yeah. Or what I'm saying, let me remove my comments because what I said, quote unquote, allegedly was completely false. And now I got this article up that people are pulling, you know what I'm saying, going to this man, this getting this shit every day that he ain't do. But like this is the cycle, you know what I'm saying? This is why I'm coming and talking to you about it right now. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping this ain't the next headline. Like I know this is juicy content for the people that's listening or whatever, but I really just don't want to have to deal with this at a higher level than what it needed to be even back then.
No, since we've spoke, I'm gonna do a really cool retraction video.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. No, because I appreciate people coming and speaking instead of, because I feel like for years there's some people that will just sit around and just let people talk and just hope that it'll go away. Sometimes it don't go away. So it's nice that you did come out, because now I can go off of what you're saying, because I didn't have anything besides the message that you sent me 2 years ago. I didn't, and that's just a message. Like to me, this is different, because then we get to hear where you're coming from, why you're frustrated, why you were even brought up in the first place. Like people have answers, because if they don't, then they'll just keep going with whatever they find. Like you said, who knows where this would have went if you wouldn't have came up here. Well, it's a good thing you did. Because now it can be nipped in the bud. Now it's over.
I mean, it's not. I appreciate the retraction. You know what I'm saying? But like understanding, like the conversation even 2 years ago was so that I didn't have to come and do this. You know what I'm saying? Like to be honest, when all of this stuff happened, like legal team and people that I know were like, yo, let this shit play out in the behind the scenes where it matters. Let it play out in the courts. Let it play out with everything that, that has been investigated, where people are actually not just talking off their head, where people actually have proof and evidence of things. And once that plays out, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it'll just fall out of the public sphere. You know what I mean? And so me as an introvert, as a person, has mental health struggles myself with emotional regulation and dealing with kind of stuff like this was a lot. You know what I'm saying? It affected my life a lot. You know what I mean? Just for it to be some shit that was a money grab by somebody who was trying to scam and trying to take down whoever he could, in that money grab. You know what I mean? I was collateral damage and didn't really say nothing about it because I didn't want to be in a news cycle. Even if it was like a news cycle that was like, yo, this clears his name. Yo, he didn't do it. I just didn't want to be in any cycle. I still don't want to be in it now. You know what I mean? But like I said, I didn't want to have to look up and somebody else is contacting me about a video with 500,000 views, trashing my name, you know what I'm saying, with stuff that's not true.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I get it. I absolutely get it.
but I appreciate, you know, the retraction. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really, like I said, I don't really need that. Like, I don't know the game of YouTube. Like I said, I'm a low key type working dude. I don't know how you guys get paid. I don't know none of that. You know what I mean? I know that in a lot of cases, some of these videos have traction not because of my name, but because of the names that are attached to it, the famous, the sensationalized names, you know? And so,
well, what I mean by retraction, I mean like explain it in a way to where we have your side of the story. So anything that was being said before is like, this is why this isn't true because we spoke to him and he said this, you know. So it's not like an apology, it's like a retraction so that people know the truth going forward, you know, and having a place of reference. So like we talked to you and now I can come forward and go over the same information, but explain it. Be like, no, this person he brought around as a friend to help him. And in the process, he tried to scam and da. Now I can explain that I didn't have that information before. So now when it goes forward, people, because when people read it, they have no idea like why Joshua came around, how he got tied to Tyler Perry's studio, and then no one knows anything. So that's why people just go with what they, you know, see instead of what they know. But now we know. So now I can explain it in that way to be like, yeah, so none of this is true, ... based off of receipts, off of proof. And you're the receipt. You're like literally the receipt.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I ain't trying to fuck up nobody money. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I understand now the nature of what you're saying. For those people in the comments, like, ain't nobody got to cash at me. I ain't trying to do no interviews. This ain't really like, this ain't no money grab. This is really just because like I'm trying to stop a train before it crashes. You know, like this literally like really messed up my mental health when all this went on. You know what I'm saying? Being accused of some shit that you didn't do in an international sphere, like is damaging. You know what I mean? It's damaging, especially for a person who like don't get in trouble, who don't really have no bad things going on. Like, you know, to have like your name just be dragged internationally for some shit that you ain't even do is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, and it can be very hurtful and very damaging to people, you know what I'm saying, that ain't used to that.
No, I feel you. Absolutely. So is there anything you'd like to say in closing? Because I really appreciate you coming up here again. I really do. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my good brother. Like I said, I mean, you know, if you can just be mindful, you know what I'm saying? Give grace to these situations. And next time somebody emails you, maybe to give a perspective, like, don't just not reach out. You know what I'm saying?
They not come like you did, because if they come like you did, I'm gonna do the same thing.
But I didn't. Hey, my brother, but I didn't come disrespectful. I mean, I told you in the email like that it was a traumatic experience, that there was a lot of perspectives that were given that weren't true, and then I even offered for you, you know, to give you a contact to reach out to me so that we could have a discussion. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to have a discussion.
But like, and you gotta think about it too. It's like the profile that you have messaged me from. I didn't know if you were real. Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it did. So.
No, I mean, like I said, I understand. I mean, that's because I'm not out here like that. I'm not out here busting out YouTube videos and making commentary and all that kind of shit. Like that stuff was like, nobody wants to relive any trauma that they go through, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis. If you do, it's your choice. Me personally, like I didn't really want to go through that. Like once everything was taken care of on a legal front and everything was proven to not be right, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to let this shit lie. You know what I mean? Until because at the end of the day, it's lying. You know what I mean? Until people are bringing it up now, you know. So I felt the need to address it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you addressing it.
But that's all, man. I ain't really want to, you know, be up on here for long. People saying I'm dragging it. You know, I said what I had to say.
I don't focus on the comments. Focus on talking.
I mean, it's good. Like I said, I just address it because like I said, I don't want where I work out. I don't want, you know, my job content. I don't want, you know what I'm saying, my life affected.
Yeah.
Or some stuff that it had not been affected over the past 8 years since it was proven all to be false.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing on my record. There's nothing, you know, that went on. I just want this shit to be done.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming up here because this is the one of the best ways to end it. No, I get it. You know, reaching out to me before, you know, but again, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So then that's why I kept. But I'm glad we could talk because I don't really feel like it was a problem. I think it was, and then words like in text when somebody sends you something, you can completely take it a different way. Because when I read differently. Like I read completely differently, like in my mind, and then it's probably in a whole nother tone. But in my mind, it's just a whole nother way. You know, so I'm just like, okay, well, what is this? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but I appreciate it.
No, we good, man. I'm just you know, like just proud out to, you know, the Christian thing is something in its own. It's its own animal, but it's not tied to this. You know what I mean? So in discussing your things with this, like it just shouldn't be tied into that whole situation. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, no, I appreciate it.
But all right, y'all. I appreciate you letting me come up here, and hopefully, if we need to chat about this in the future, or clear up some other things, we can. But this is probably the last time they're gonna see me having to jump on interviews and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, you let me know. My DM is always open.
All right, brother.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep.
So shout out to Brett. Shout out to Brett. Shout out to Brett. Okay. But yes, this is a show. Okay. You get nowhere with disrespect. Let that be a rule. To you YouTubers, you newbies, up and comings. If you make an issue of something, you get nowhere. You get no answers. You get no understanding. You get none of that. And I honestly don't feel like Brett was trying to be like rude or disrespectful. I think that's just his personality. I think that's, some people come off, a little aggressive, and whatnot, but I don't think, it was anything like, and then again, when y'all got to think, rumors are started on us all the time, right? Some things you just get tired of, responding to, and you get really frustrated, when they are brought up. You get frustrated. So I can understand that with him. I can understand him being frustrated. Somebody been talking to you, coming at you about something for years that isn't true. When I completely get it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. When you interview someone, you got to try to go into where they are. At this point in time, he's probably coming up here really frustrated because there's a lot of things that he probably wants to clear up. So, and everybody expresses themselves differently. So I didn't expect him to come up here kissing my feet. I mean, if you're heterosexual, somebody's sitting there calling you gay, and all of that stuff, are you really gonna come up there like, well, hello, Sean? Like you may have like, yeah, you sitting here saying this, you saying that. I'm like, Z, I owned it. That's what you're supposed to do. I did say those things, and I appreciate him for still coming up, because that could have been enough for what I was saying at the beginning of the show for make him not even want to come. But again, that's a comedy thing. That's me being like, funny. Like, this is part of my show. But when I take interviews very seriously. I take interviews very seriously, and that's how you get answers. So we got answers. I didn't know that Joshua did not work for Tyler Perry Studios. I did not know that. I didn't know he was freelance and basically came there because of Brett. Brett brought him there. That's why he was listed in a lawsuit. Makes complete sense. Literally. So that's why I said I would love to do a retraction video. And what the retraction video is, putting the truth out there. So instead of what we said earlier, due to us, our old videos, perception and, just guessing and in theory, lining this with that and that, I don't mind. It puts the truth out there. And that's what we want out there anyway, right? We want the truth out there. That's how we work. That's how we vibe. And it makes really good content. So like that's, and then we get to tell the truth. I love telling the truth because then it lines up with other stuff. Then it lines up with other stuff, So yeah, shout out to Brett for coming up again. He said that it traumatized him. Like, he had to deal with so much stuff because there's so much unnecessary stuff just because he was just trying to look out for somebody, whatnot. And this is what he gets in return, and he has to keep dealing with it, and it's with a bunch of stuff, and then again in the lawsuit, he was, certain things were said. And when we said, like, he could hate the gay community, and whatnot, based off of, being weaponized in something that he's not even a part of, so it's a lot. So I'm thankful that all of these rumors that have been put out there about him because of this, that he's still, because I'm, it's cool to see that, I don't mind boys. So and for him to still come up and, shout out to him, because he does not interview, and he did reach out to me, and there's been plenty of people that have wanted to talk to him. Plenty of people that have tried to talk to him, that have tried to get him to come and talk, and he just didn't want any involvement because he felt like if I don't talk about it, it will just go away because it's not true. So I don't want to keep, breathing life, into something that didn't happen. So with somebody like me, because he has reached out to me before, you're definitely a fan. Like, shout out to you for being a subscriber. You're definitely a subscriber, Brad. So, because Brad, you need to get me on TV, Brad. You got all these damn connections. Get me on TV. So shout out to Brett for coming through. Shout out to him. I really appreciate it. He did not have to. And as y'all see, I did respond to him. So because I definitely could have clout chased and be like, oh, come on my show and let's talk about it. From what his message, I didn't feel like he wanted to talk about it at all. So I was just like, kind of just left it there, you know, instead of just